So with the XML concepts kind of hinting at us in the background, we don't have to remember them all the time, but we know that they're there. Let's take a look at how we round-trip documents between the older Office format and the new format and what considerations there are. I have my Word document open. It's open in 2010, but it is an older format. In other words, it's the .doc or the binary format. The training proposal document can be found in the Chapter 2 folder of your project files if you're going to be following along. When I work with an older document, there are actually several hints or tips that I can see that will let me know it's in the older format. Let's take a look at one of the more subtle ones first. I have a logo image that's placed at the top of this document. I'll go ahead and select it. And hopefully you're aware that when you select an image, you have a contextual tab at the top of the ribbon on the right-hand side, in this case called Picture Tools and Format. If I click on this tab, I can look and see that there are, of course, tools that will allow me to work with the image. I can do things like work with brightness and contrast and recoloring. If I expand recoloring, for example, though, this is the first thing that I notice. This is not the full feature set that comes with 2007 and 2010. This is the old version. Things we used to see from the picture toolbar. Automatic, grayscale, black and white, washout, set transparent color. It's a very simple set. This is my first indication that this is the older version. I'm not seeing all of the new tools. Let me go ahead and press Escape to get out of that and show you that the next and probably the easiest and most obvious way to tell is by simply looking at the title bar. When I move up to the top center of the screen, I can see that it not only says Training Proposal, it has Compatibility Mode after it. Anytime a document is in the old format, it will say Compatibility Mode after the title to let you know. Another way is to simply go to the backstage. If I click on File, Show the Info panel, I can see immediately that the extension on this particular file is trainingproposal.doc. There is no X. And I also see an option that says Compatibility Mode Convert. This option will only be available if it's in the old format. If it's in the current XML format, I'm not going to see the option to convert. It also gives me some information. Some new features are disabled to prevent problems when working with previous versions of Office. Naturally, that's what we just saw when we were trying to work with our picture tools. So the answer here is actually very simple. All I have to do is click Convert. It's going to come up and tell me, of course, that it's going to go ahead and convert the document to the new format, that the layout may change a little bit, and that converting is going to allow me to use all of the cool new stuff. You can say, don't ask me that again, if you find that that gets to be irritating and you're aware of this feature. I'm not going to check that. I'm just going to say OK. And when we take a look at our document, it doesn't look like anything's changed. It also didn't take very long. I didn't see a little hourglass or anything, but I can see some of the different features that I was talking about. Most prominently, the title bar no longer says Compatibility Mode. It just has the name of the file. Next, if I click on my picture and I go to the Format Contextual tab, I now have access to an entire array of new picture tools that just weren't available before. Primarily, if I click on color, it's not just black and white or washout. I get things like color tone and color saturation. We'll be discussing all of these specific features as they relate to images in a later chapter. It's actually that simple. There's nothing really difficult about it. You just have to be aware that a file may be in an older format and know how to go in and click Convert to move it up and take advantage of the new tools. Converting forward is never going to be an issue. There are some things you have to consider if you're going to try to save something backwards, and that's what we'll talk about in the next lesson.